Mixtape.
Good morning. Good morning, Instagram.
We're waiting for everyone to jump on.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Midweek
Welcome.
Mixtape. Such an early start, but we're
Hope you got
good
your
to go.
coffee and you're ready to go.
Yeah, we definitely have
We're
our
ready.
coffee. My name is Lungelwa Kanyile, and if you can't say my name, that's absolutely fine. It took me the first 2 years of my life to learn it, so you're in great company.
I actually still have Lou in my phone as Lou K because I, after 2 years of being friends, still can't pronounce her full name or spell it.
That's okay. I am the guest experience director at our Concord campus. Love being there.
Amazing. And then my name is Brennan Gaddis, and I'm our campus pastor at our Asheville location. And maybe you didn't know this, but we just launched as an official campus, and we are celebrating such a big weekend. God did so many great things. Actually, let me just tell a really quick story. So one of our volunteers, Justin, invited his friend Brad. Brad came to church for the first time, so he was a VIP. He, at the end of the 11:30 a.m. worship experience, gave his life to Christ, and then he got baptized. And so we were celebrating 20 people with their faith and 14 people giving their lives to Christ.
Come on, that is like one crazy
Come
start.
hang out in Asheville.
I know, I love it. So while we're waiting for some people to tune in, Brennan and I have 5 things that we have in common.
That's about it.
That's all that it is. So number 1 is we are both from the South.
And you probably already knew that because our accents
So similar.
gave it away.
But I'm from South Africa and she's from Kentucky. We both love coffee.
It is the best part of my morning.
Yeah, some people, can't start their day without coffee, but I feel like I wake up to drink coffee.
It's true. We both hate cats.
Yeah.
Sorry to all the cat lovers.
If you invite us over to your house and you have cats, there's a 12 out of 10 chance we're not coming.
Probably not going to be there. We both love makeup.
Love makeup.
Mostly love the free samples that you can get
Yeah.
at Nordstrom. No shame there.
No, none whatsoever. Love Johnny Swim.
It's our favorite band.
Favorite band.
So we've got 5 things in common. But hey, let's jump in this morning. Welcome to Midweek Mixtape. We've just been taking a few minutes every Wednesday morning just to talk about how we can practically apply the sermon from the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And so this past weekend, we are on part 4 of Bars and Battles, and Pastor Stephen preached an incredible sermon on anxiety. We've been taking a look at the Psalms and how David was real and honest with God. And so this week, Pastor Stephen preached from Psalms 139, so I thought I'd share this quick scripture with you from verse 23 and 24. It says, "Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting."
Yeah. I love how that starts. It says, "Search me, O God." It doesn't say search them or search this. It's search me. And it's not a coincidence that right in the middle of the word anxiety is the letter I.
Right.
And so often our anxiety comes from within. So if we're going to look at why we're anxious, the cause is really intrinsic.
Right.
And so this past weekend, Pastor Stephen gave us 7 causes for anxiety, all beginning with the letter I.
He's so creative.
And so the first one was intake. Pastor challenged us to take an inventory of all the things that we're taking in. And then secondly is imbalance. What am I putting weight to? Is it the right weight? And then thirdly, indecision. Living in a state of indecision leads to a very frustrating life. So yeah.
And then he also talked about integrity. And so am I the same person as who I pretend to be as who I really am? He also talked about intention. And so am I trying to bless people or am I trying to impress people? That one stuck out to me quite a bit. Imagination. Am I always caught up with what could be, would be, should have been? And then isolation. Am I just trying to make it through this life alone? And so one of the things that has been fun about this sermon is to be able to talk about the I that stuck out most to us. And so Lou, which one stuck out the most to you?
Yeah, well, it's really crazy because when Pastor Stephen gave the title of his message, which is "Why Am I Anxious?" my knee-jerk reaction was, "I'm not anxious, everything's fine, I'm fine."
Totally fine.
And it was literally like the Holy Spirit was standing over me as like Morgan Freeman, and he was this narrator, and he was like, "Lou was wrong. Everything is not fine." So my eyes definitely intake, okay? Yeah. So I'm one of those people, the first thing that I do when I wake up is, obviously open my eyes. But the second thing that I do is I stretch out and get my phone. And I honestly always need to be informed. Like I want to know, if you want someone to decode Taylor Swift's latest song, I'm your girl. If you want to know about the political and social and economic status of America, I've been doing my research, ask me. And so I always am filling my life with so much information. But I also expect the peace of God to be in my life.
Right.
And it doesn't always work like that. And so when Pastor Stephen said we need to take an inventory of what we're taking that was my first practical step. I need to make a list of all the things that I'm taking in. And then my second step was, why do I need to fill my life with all of this information? Right. And it really came from, sometimes it's just a way for me to divert. If I'm concentrating on something else, then I don't always have to think about my life. And so what I realize is that I expect God to move in my life, but I don't really make space for it. And in high school when we learned about, saturation and oversaturation.
Science.
So oversaturation happens when we don't have any more room to combine anything or add anything. And so it's not that God isn't moving in my life, it's just that there's no space for him to because my heart is oversaturated with the wrong things. And so I had to just change the ratio, spend 45 minutes listening to the word, but then also, spend some time.
It's about keeping it in check. With intake, the thing that stuck out to me is it's also the voices that you allow to speak in to your heart. And so even just this week, there was someone who hurt my feelings, and I found myself, as embarrassingly as it is, I found myself going to several different people to get their opinion about it. Yeah. And all of a sudden I was like, hang on, I am completely off here. I don't think I'm looking for their opinion. I think I'm looking for their validation. Yeah. And so it's so important just for us to take a minute and go, all right, what streams are we allowing into our hearts? For sure. The I that stuck out the most to me though was indecision. I've always thought that I was a decisive person.
Me too.
If you ask me what I want to eat, I always want nachos. I know, I'm very decisive.
Yep.
But for some reason, recently I've been struggling with making decisions quickly, and I'll put them off, and I'll wait to make them, and then the team that I lead is still wondering, hey, when are we going to have our campus meeting? So that's the most recent example is I wouldn't decide. I'll be like, oh, this week we'll have it on Monday. Next week we'll have it on Tuesday. So we were talking about it again in a meeting. And so finally I said, all right, I'm going to make the decision. It's Tuesdays at 3. Yeah. And then 2 weeks later we had to change it.
But Jesus is still on the throne.
And at least I made the decision.
Yeah, girl.
So indecision was probably the biggest one for me.
Yeah. That's crazy. And I'm sure you have your own, and I know that God will work through us in those things. But I know Pastor Stephen challenged us to make 3 decisions, right?
Today is D-Day. Today is the day where we make the decisions.
Yeah. So what have been some of your decisions?
So in true, I've just made the decision about what I'm going to do for Labor Day, because in true millennial form, maybe I was checking my calendar as in waiting to see what the best option was. Sorry, Angie Blackson. And so I made the decision yesterday that I'm going apple picking. And now my Monday is planned.
That is the most American thing.
Fall is coming, and I live in Asheville. It's the perfect thing to do.
Yeah.
So I made the decision what to do for Labor Day.
I love it. I also need to make my decision for Labor Day. My decision was, so a month ago my car broke down. But it wasn't a surprise because my car is so old. I'm pretty certain the disciples used my car to get to the Last Supper. That's how old it was. So when it broke down, it wasn't it was a surprise. It was that's what it should do. It should probably break down. But I've been looking for a car for the past month, and I just kept putting it off because I'm what if I buy the wrong car? What if it breaks down again? What if? Imagination. And then I was for crying in a plastic teacup, I just need to make a decision. So I bought a car yesterday. Look at us applying Pastor's words so
putting
well.
It into action. So I hope that you've made your decisions. But one of my things that I'm realizing with this sermon is that some of the I's can stack on each other. Yeah. And so sometimes I won't make a decision because my imagination is out of check. So I'm just imagining what could go wrong. And so I just love that this sermon is giving us language to be able to have conversations like this. And so I would just encourage you in your e-group that you joined this week to make sure that you're taking the time to talk about it and to share with a friend where anxiety is creeping in in your heart.
Yeah, and if you haven't heard the sermon at all, don't worry, you still have so many opportunities to. You can join us at any of our our midweek
Yep.
experiences, but I'm gonna shamelessly plug Concord. Tonight we're having our midweek experience. We're having
Would
trivia.
you say that Concord has the best midweek experience?
Yeah.
Figured she
I mean,
would.
what kind of a silly question
figured
is
she
that? We have the best
What are you
midweek
doing tonight?
experience.
You told me it was
Midweek, we're having trivia and
cool.
tacos.
I love it.
Come hungry, ladies. Our diets can start tomorrow again.
Perfect. Yeah, and keep tuning in with Bars and Battles. And so make sure that you are with us, that you join us for church this weekend. We would love to see you there. But thank you guys so much for joining
Thanks
us for
for
Midweek
joining us.
Mixtape.
Loved hanging with you all.
Hope you have a great day.
Bye.